Hey everybody, it's Mike Venus back again. Um, the title said beat makers need to learn music theory. This is true. Um, Timbaland and several other ones, like they will say, nah, you don't really need it. But really essential to beat making is knowing how to count beats and time signatures and stuff like that. So we're just dealing with beats, right? So let's pull up, let's get some sounds up in here real quick. Just keep it real simple. All right. All right. So, like last time, I'm gonna demonstrate this on the MPC Live 2, right? And I'm also gonna demonstrate it on the Launchpad. That way, we covering both if you work with a 16 pad step sequencer, or if you're using a 64 pad grid controller like the push or the Launchpad or the Akai Force, right? And you working with the step sequencer, because like last time we talked about it, the step sequencer is your friend. Never neglect it. All right. So we started this last time. Let me see if I can get a better camera angle so you can kind of see all the pads. There we go. On here you got 16 pads on the MPC machine. What's another 16 grid machine? I want to say the is it the Roller Beat Lab? I want to say that's 16. The Roller MC 101. Yeah, it's got 16. Right, so you got 16 pads, right? Okay. So we're gonna start with quarter notes, right? So if you look at anything dealing with music, if you see something with 4 and there's another 4 underneath it, that's telling you for each measure or bar, you have 4 beats till you get to the next bar or measure, right? So how would you interpret that on the live or on the Launchpad or Force Push? Easy. Now, like I said, first I'm gonna start on live, and then I'm gonna do it on the Launchpad to kind of give you both scenarios. So I'm on MPC, I'm on the step sequencer. If we count the 4 beats, right? On the step sequencer, on a 16 pad step sequencer, that will be every pad starting on your left, going up. So this is beat 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold on. Oh shit. Okay. That's a typical 4. This is a quarter note. Right? Now, from the quarter notes, which is 1 beat per, that's a quarter note. You hear this typically in house, most EDM music, house, techno, most dance music, right? That's a quarter note, right? So we're doing a whole beat. Could we do a whole beat on this one? I gotta change the time signature. We do a whole beat, right? That's a whole beat, right? So you go from a whole beat, right, from whole to half. So that'll be right? One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a half beat. That means for each, from that sound to the next sound, it's 2 beats, right? Then from there you go to quarter notes, which is every beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? That's quarter notes. Now we go into 8 notes. So now when we start multiplying like this, it's called syncopation. You're playing the beats in between the beats. Right? So right now, this is a quarter note. It's playing on every beat. Right? Right? Let me pull this up. Make this simple. We're going to do 1 pattern. Alright, cool. Right? Right? So that's the quarter note, right? So 8 notes, if we're doing the 16, it'll look like this. The way you count that is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Right? That's 8 notes. Right? Then from 8 notes, you go into 16, which is basically doubling that. Right? Now you say, well, why do I need to know all that? Because what you can start to do, if you know basic drums, every drum, this is common knowledge, the kick is always on the 1 and the 3. Right? You got snare. Snare is always on the 2 and the 4. Right? We're just going to deal with those 2 sounds. Right? Now, let's say, okay, I want to kind of give this a different feel. Right? So let me put an and on that. Right? 1, 2 and 1. Oh, 1, 2 and 3 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. You see? Now you might say, now your snare might sound off, but technically it's not. It's on. This is what I was telling you about. Even if you work on a step sequencer, if you know how to count beats, you can make your beat not sound so stiff and robotic. What did I do? Right? I put the snare, which typically be on the 2 and the 4 like this. Right? I just moved it back to the and. One, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3. See how I give it a feel? Let's do it with this one. Right? Let's double up. let's do this with the kicks. All right. Right. That's just dealing with 8 notes, right? Now, when you get into the 16th, this is getting more into like things like Latin music, Afro beats, stuff that got a little bit more, I'll say more world music than standard Western style like rhythms, right? So let's demonstrate, right? How we gonna do this? Let's do, put that on there, spread the kick out. Excuse me. Okay. Right. Right. All I'm doing, oh shit. All I'm doing is just playing in those spaces, right? You can come up with different types of beats, right? So that's with the step sequencer on here, right? And then like if you're doing down hats, you know, same thing. Right, you can do 8 notes or quarter notes, 8th notes, 16ths. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Right. So you play around with that and you come up with different things and you see how that works out for you. Now that's with the live, right? So the live is still here just because I use the live as a sound source because the Launchpad don't make the sound. So, right? Same thing. Now on this, it's different. This is what you would typically see on like the Roland MC 101, 707, right? Maybe the Circuit, the Launchpad, the Push, the Force, right? Is a step sequencer, right? Normally you will see it kind of like this, like a 32 step sequencer. But to keep it simple, we're just gonna do 1 bar, right? Because we went over this last time. For every 4 squares is a beat. So if we're doing the 4/4, the quarter notes, that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Okay, so let's lay down the kick. Oh shit, my bad. Right now, like I said, typically the kicks go on the 1 and the 3. The snare goes on the 2 and the 4. And the hats typically go on the downbeat. So it goes on every beat. So this is a standard beat you have. Right? Now if we want an 8-note pattern with the hi-hats, right? So how do we count this? So we can kind of go through the whole thing. So let me start over. Let me just do it. We'll do it. The quarter notes, right? Right? That would be your 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? 8th notes will be like this, right? Because you're doubling, right? And 16th notes would be the whole thing. Oh shit. Right? So you kind of know the math. Now I should have said this, but the way you count 16th notes is 1 E and A. Right? So 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Right? This is why they have it in 16th divisions like this. Now, like I said, if you know that your kick, this is the kick, goes on the 1 and 3 primarily, and your snare on the 2 and the 4 or clap, whatever, right? You could play by shifting it kind of off the grid. So if we want, let's say our snare to have an 8th note feel, right? Now we want to have a 16th feel. All right, let's do it. All right. Now the kicks is on the quarter, right? This is typical like Latin. Now you get into Afro. Right? Let me stop jamming. All right. Now what did I do? If you notice, this is the snare. It's not on straight on the 2. It's kind of shifted off, but it's still in step sequencer. You see what I'm saying? It's not on the straight on the 2 and the 4. I shifted up to the A of the 1 E and the of the 1 and the 3, right? So it's a little bit ahead of the 2 and the 4, right? And then I set it on the and of the 2 and the 4. So it has that 16th/8th note feel that gives you that natural, like, this is reggaeton. What does that sound like? It sounds like Afrobeat. Got a little swing to it, so it has a little jazz to it. Right? Simple. Right. So like I said, learn how to count your beats. Now, what I just explained to you, that's music theory. I know a lot of people are against music theory, or they feel like it's not necessary, but even if you are a beat maker, if you know how to count beats, especially in Western music, which is typically in 4/4, you can do crazy stuff, even on a step sequencer. So like I said, just play around with it. If you know typically the kicks be on the 1 and the 3 primarily, just shift your kicks around. Or if you want the kick to be on the 1 and the 3, try adding in some 8th notes or 16th note feel to give your kicks a little bit more off the grid, you know, or more loose feel, so it doesn't feel so stiff and robotic. What's up, fam? Right? Same with the snare. Right? So like I said, I got that reggaeton. Right? Right. So yeah, learn that, practice that, and it will help you out. What's good? What's up? Nothing, just doing little tips and tutorials on beat making. Just kind of help people out. Either using the step sequencer, because like I said, if you ain't tight on your finger drumming, you can always use the step sequencer. So, about to wrap it up because I'm about to eat. So hopefully, y'all learned something. Hopefully, I'm gonna come back soon with another one. Not make it so long this time. Sorry if it's a little confusing. Just run it back, watch it, and learn. But really, this shit is easy. Don't make this shit more complicated than it need to be. Like, it really isn't. Like, you can learn that. You know, you got the quarter notes, which is on every beat. Then you got your 8th notes, which is double that. Then you got your 16th notes, which is double that, right? And if you got the quarter notes, you can go half of that, which is giving you half beats, right? And you go one more down that way, you got whole beats, which goes for the whole measure, right? So probably next time I'll probably show you some drum patterns. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I like the shirt too. I'll show you some some basic drum patterns. And probably some reading material, because I would suggest if you can't like pay for lessons and stuff like that, the next best thing is to get books on this stuff and learn it that way. I would not advise YouTube, more or less, because it's just a lot of disinformation on there pertaining to just music production. You know what I'm saying? But get it for yourself. That way you learn. So hopefully that was encouraging. Hopefully it helped you. You know what I'm saying? Until the next time, Mike Venus out. Until the fam, Jane and Charles, I love y'all. All right. About to end it. I'll see y'all next time. Love y'all.